Hello and welcome to another episode of Agree to Disagree here on Zoom. I'm Aidan here with Noah Schwartz, Jack Costello, and Dean Gutic. How you guys all doing?
What's up?
Great to be back.
So today we are going to be talking about the episodes from Sunday of The Last Dance. That was episodes 7 and 8. And then we're going to talk a bit about the NFL schedule and hit some winners and losers. So let's start with The Last Dance. Noah, do you have what were your thoughts on this weekend's episodes?
Yeah, I continue to love it. I think just another week went by and 2 more great episodes came out, and we'll see what happens on Sunday in the last 2 episodes. But my main takeaway would probably be a lot about how Jordan treated his teammates. I mean, you guys all remember the emotional scene at the end of episode 7 in which he started to cry and had to actually take a break from the interview because he just got so emotional about the way that he was viewed as some sort of a bully, but at the same time a really great leader. And I thought about it the last couple days about how he treated his teammates and whether the end result of winning championships was worth what he was doing to his teammates, such as not letting Horace Grant eat on the plane, punching Steve Kerr, punching Will Perdue, making fun of Scott Burrell throughout the 98 season. And I want to just throw a question out to you guys, because this was my big takeaway. I don't love this leadership mentality and the way that he went about treating his teammates. What did you guys think? Did you appreciate the way he treated the other Bulls? What did you think?
I mean, personally, I didn't like the way he treated them, but I still loved his leadership and the way that the game drives him personally and as a championship winner. Sometimes I feel like, and this is not to make an excuse for him, trust me, I feel like sometimes when you have a winner's mentality, it gets stuck up in your head and you'll think that I'll try to paraphrase this the best way I could possible, not using a certain word. Like they'll think that they're the stuff, alternative word. Like you'll think you're the man and everything, and you'll think you're above everyone. You'll have this winner's mentality, and then you'll just like talk down on everyone. Sometimes I feel like, although I feel like it was wrong, sometimes I feel like the game takes you over as a player and your mentality.
Yeah, I have to agree with that. I also think that, like, personally, I'm a big fan of, tough love teachers or mentors or people like that, like a lot of the players in the interviews were saying, Michael Jordan was tough. He was a dick to a lot of people, even on his own team. But it was because of that mentality that the Bulls were able to consistently win and consistently play at such a high level, because they knew that if they messed up, Michael Jordan was going to be coming for them. And, sure, it's tough, but you guys have all had those teachers in high school or even in college that have been like the meanest people ever. They're so rude to you. They have the most annoying homework assignments or whatever. But when you come out of the class, you realize that you've learned more than you would have with a teacher who was nice to you all the time. That's
Walk
just
away with something.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. There's plenty of positives and plenty of negatives to his leadership. Steve Kerr definitely earned my respect. He took a punch from Michael Jordan, so I just want to say that. But also, he kind of had the mentality like he doesn't respect people if he could bully them, which is necessarily isn't a bad thing. He tries to just hold them to his standards, and pretty much like it's kind of the same thing with Kobe Bryant. As long as you showed you have a drive and you want to win, Jordan will respect you pretty much.
I respect Scott Brunel. I think is that his name, Noah?
Huh? Yeah. Brunel.
Yeah, that he took it like a champ. Like he really handled it really well. But I feel like even watching Jordan, like he pushed his teammates, which I love.
Yeah, I love that.
I love that. I love that strive. That strive for greatness. That strive of a winning mentality.
And he also
go ahead.
I just want to add to that. He said in the documentary that he never asked his teammates to do anything that he wouldn't do.
But you guys don't consider it almost on the verge of bullying? Because some of it, to me, was just a little bit over the line.
Some of it was a little bit, but personally, I still think he would, like I said, no excuse to him. I still think it was a little bit too much, but I still think he was trying to push the team. And like I said, that winner's mentality took him over, but that happens to some people. And like Aidan said, it's tough love, and he showed them that tough love. But it paid off.
Yeah, I think it was I wouldn't call it bullying with his teammates. What I would call bullying is what he did to people, to his opponents. If someone
Yeah.
would make a comment about being better than him or being equal to him, or even if they would just do something that was, slightly that could be taken as disrespectful, or if they, got a shot over him, he was going to go out and he was going to make their life miserable. He was going to embarrass them on a national stage. That was bullying. But
That
at the
was
same
just
time, it showed people not to mess with him. It showed people, if you mess with me, this is what's going to happen. You're going to get embarrassed. I am better than you. I know I'm better than you, so don't try anything.
I thought it was crazy, the whole story about I think he played on the Wizards, Smith, LeBradford Smith, and that whole
Yeah.
story about
That
how
was
he made up the quote that he said, like, "Nice game, Mike," after he scored 30-something points on him. And then the next night, Michael was like, "No, screw this. I'm going to go out and score 36 and a half." I mean, like, who comes up with that stuff? Like, I don't know. That
he
just the
actually did it though,
mentality.
which
I
is
understand to
crazy.
his opponents, but it was just weird. I love that whole thing.
Sure. The most, like, the funniest part to me, I love when they're going over, like, the Sonics are not getting swept, and, like, they switch Gary Payton onto Michael, and then he's like, I did all that, and then Michael's watching it and he's just laughing.
Okay, hold on. Let me.
love that.
I'm actually in the process of getting the tweet that I saw yesterday right now. I have a lot to say about Gary Payton. So this part was by far the part that bothered me the most from this here you go. Okay, from the documentary. So wait, I gotta pause it here. Okay, where's this? Hold on. Okay. Let me. You guys keep going. Let me just find this tweet quick that I saw yesterday. But it definitely gives a nice way to explain this whole thing about Gary Payton. So essentially, in the first 3 games of that series when the Bulls won, Michael was averaging like 30 points a game, shooting like 50% from the field, dominating the way that you'd expect him to.
I saw this.
And then Gary Payton gets switched on to him for games 4 and then 5 and 6.
Like 20, 23 points a game.
Right, 23 points a game on like 36% from the field. It was basically his worst finals games that he's ever played.
I didn't like that he said I had no problem, but I was like, you struggled mightily against Gary Payton.
Yeah,
Granted,
exactly.
Gary Payton was the glove for a reason. Gary Payton is one of the greatest defenders to play the game.
Yeah, absolutely. Gary Payton.
Right, and he didn't deserve that. It's not like he did anything. I mean, he was honestly just doing his job, playing defense, being physical, all that. And Michael has to take a shot at him. And look, I understand when you're that great at something, sometimes you have this attitude where it's like, nobody can ever beat me. Nobody's ever been better than me. Nobody will ever be better than me. But at the end of the day, I hope you guys agree with this. The numbers don't lie. The statistics don't lie. The percentages don't lie. The points that you score don't lie. And by the way, most importantly, the game results don't lie, because you lost 2 of those games and you snuck out of game 6 at home with a win. But it wasn't like that they were dominating towards the end of that series. Michael didn't play well. And to take a shot at Gary Payton like that, I thought was completely over the line.
If Gary Payton was on Michael Jordan the whole series, I feel like that would have changed the complexion.
The series would have been different. I definitely agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
It was a mistake for those first 3 games to not put Gary Payton on Michael Jordan.
Agreed.
Yeah,
definitely.
agreed.
And you guys also found that over the line a little disrespectful?
It was
Absolutely.
I didn't like the laughing part.
Yeah, that was really, that's the one thing I don't like about Jordan. He doesn't give props to pretty much any other players. Like, whenever they do something.
Agree.
Yeah.
That I don't like.
So moving on from the basketball part of the documentary, what did you guys think about how the Last Dance covered Michael Jordan's retirement from basketball and his move to baseball, and then his move back to basketball?
Yeah, I love that. That was
I loved it.
Favorite parts of the whole thing.
I have to agree. I loved that the coverage of his first few games in the minor leagues.
Yeah, for sure.
Bears.
Also, going off that part, what did you guys think about Scottie Pippen and him?
Oh,
that too.
Matt, what'd you say?
What do you think about Scottie Pippen benching himself?
That was wild.
That was wild.
It's unfortunate that we give so much hate toward. We always have give so much hate towards Scottie about that specific moment. But at the end of the day, look, I think he did something that was clearly wrong and totally was not warranted in that moment. But at the same time, after playing so many years of second fiddle to Michael Jordan, like you are now the guy. I mean, I don't know if everybody realizes this. That 94 season, he averaged 23 and was third in MVP voting and was the best player on a team that won like 55 games after Jordan had only 57 wins with them the previous year. And you've got to recognize how great Scotty was that season. And for him not to get the ball at the end of the game, to me, was a little ridiculous, to be honest. After Mike, for years and years, would always have those chances.
All right. Let me tell you something. But first of all, the Croatian sensation, Tony Kukoc. Here's the thing. I think you guys saw the clips of Kukoc hitting those clutch shots before the shot against the Knicks. I mean, I didn't like the idea of not only Pippen benching himself. I understand the frustration that you're the guy on the team. You're having an MVP caliber season, arguably. Not even arguably. You're the main guy. Like I said, you're the main guy on the team since Michael left. But at the same time, I would have given the ball to Kukoc because I'm thinking, like, if this guy's been clutch for us all year, you give the ball in the hands of someone who's been clutch for you. Fortunate enough, Kukoc hits that shot.
Yeah, exactly.
He was a rookie, though.
Yes, yeah, that's true. But also, Kukoc was a shooter. Pippen, he's a great player.
Yeah, he's not a great jump shooter.
Pippen's great, but Kukoc was a shooter, and he was clutch for them all year that year, and that shot was another one.
Yeah.
Like it's you think about it, you have two players who are, great at their respective positions. And one player has carried the team the whole year, sure. But are you going to put the ball in his hands out of respect on a game that you need to win? Or are you going to give it to the guy who can win the game for you?
Yeah. Well, I just look at it from a perspective of, for 10 years before that, Michael had been getting the ball in every situation because he was the best player, obviously. Then it became Scotty in that role, and he didn't get the ball in a situation that was huge. And I'm not saying I condone Scotty's actions at all, because that was totally wrong. But I just felt like maybe they should have looked to get him the ball in that spot. I know maybe you could use him as a decoy almost, but I just felt like the ball should be in Scotty's hands to go and try and hit that shot. But it's fine. I don't want to hate too much on Scotty's legacy. I don't think we should put so much into that. I think we should focus more on the championships and being the best second fiddle that's ever played in the NBA. I think that's more important.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So, you guys good to move on from The Last Dance?
Yes.
Sure.
Yeah,
All
I
right.
think yep.
Yeah, so we're going to move on. The four of us here are representatives of 3 different NFL teams. And the NFL schedule was released this past week. So what are all your thoughts on your team's schedule? Noah and Jack, you guys can go first if you want with the Jets.
You want me to start, Jack?
I'll go.
Okay, good.
I don't like our schedule at all. There's really nothing I like about it. So let me start from the beginning. I don't like the Jets are going to have a lot of mileage. They got to travel to LA twice, and they have Seattle and a couple other places that are distant. They got a lot of tough competition. They got to play both teams that were in the Super Bowl. They got to play Buffalo and New England twice, obviously. And also, like, 2 of the easiest games on the Jet schedule are weeks 3 and 4. I think that's against the Broncos and the Colts. Those are games, if the season has to be shortened, are the ones that are going to get canceled, I heard.
Right.
So I don't like that. I don't like that aspect of it. So it's, like, tough. Like, I think the Jets, they definitely improved as a team. But I don't know. It's going to be kind of difficult for them to, if they want to do well this year. They have to, like, the keys for them to win. Pretty much, they have to go 4-2 in their division. They gotta sweep Miami, and they gotta steal one from Buffalo, and they gotta steal one from New England. Also, because the one bright side, they play a lot of the young quarterbacks. So you have to beat the rookies because you gotta take advantage of that. Rookies they struggle, so you got to take advantage of that. They play the Chargers. They play the Broncos, who Drew Lock is basically still a rookie. They played Miami twice if Tua plays, and they play the Bengals once, so you got Burrow. So you have to take advantage of those matchups. Those are my keys for the Jets.
Did you see the Chargers too?
Completely agree with Jack.
Did you see the Chargers too? Because
Yeah.
you play the Chargers, right?
Yeah.
We just don't know if it's going to be Tyrod or Justin.
Yeah.
So I pretty much completely agree with Jack. It's a brutal schedule. And when I was thinking about how many wins I was going to project the Jets for prior to the schedule release, I knew they played a lot of tough opponents, but I didn't know the order or obviously how it was all going to work out early in the season and then going forward. And I thought, oh, you know what? They have the talent of an 8-win team, maybe a 9-win team if they can sneak a couple wins.
Yeah.
And then I saw the schedule and how it all played out, and all of a sudden I said, this is a 7-win team, maybe at most. And it's not because their talent is lacking at that level. It's just that the schedule and the teams they're playing are so tough. Now, the only solace I can kind of take in that is the fact that our division rivals also have to play a similar schedule, play a lot of the same teams, because we both have to play we all have to play against the AFC West. So that's Kansas City, that's the Chargers, that's the Broncos, that's the Raiders, and then play the NFC West as well, in addition to the AFC West. And so that's the 49ers, the Seahawks. So that's the good part about it, I guess, is that everybody else has to play the same schedule or a similar schedule. And New England actually has a more difficult schedule than we do, as the two toughest in the league. Mm-hmm. But otherwise, it's tough. And I know for you, Dean, I mean, you're going to say something similar because you play a lot of the same teams as we do. And you actually play a second-place schedule where it's tougher. But for the most part, I look at this and I'm like, oh, God. And the amount of top receivers that this team plays, and we'll get into the cornerback situation a little bit later if we can get our savior, Logan Ryan. But they play a lot of great receivers, and I just don't know if they have enough on the back end to stop anybody through the air.
Yeah, but also before we go to Dean, I just want to say I completely agree with what you said. I'm predicting the Jets are either going to go anywhere between 6-10 to 8-8, and I think this will be hopefully Adam Gaze's last year in New York. And I want to predict this now. The coaching search shouldn't even take a day because the next head coach of the Jets is already on their staff, and it should be Greg Williams.
No way.
Greg Williams.
Eric Bieniemy should be next coach of the Jets.
No.
All right, Dean, what are your thoughts on the Bills?
When I saw their schedule, I was pretty shook. I was like, this is going to be a very hard schedule. I was happy to see that we're going to get 4 primetime games, possibly 5, depending on the flexing of the Broncos game. I'm happy to see that they're going to be playing the Chiefs in Thursday night in Buffalo. I can't wait to see a lot of Buffalo games this year. I'm going to say 10 to 12 wins. The ceiling is 12 with the floor being 9 to 10 wins. I think although we do play a hard schedule, at least we play some teams like, let's say, the Chiefs at home, although we play the Broncos on the road. I feel like we have a more favorable schedule than the Jets do.
Yeah.
I think we're a better team.
Barely.
Yeah, not much.
Just barely.
Not by much, but I'm saying like at least more manageable.
Right.
And like let's say the Chiefs example, you guys would go on the road, just thrown out there as an example. At least we have them home, so it's like, you know what I'm saying? At least the game's more winnable at home compared to being on the road in that loud stadium. So I think this is a pretty manageable schedule. I'm going to say 10 to 12 wins. It's going to be tough, though, but I can't wait to watch them on prime time. I'm excited this year for the first time ever.
I'm excited to see the Bills, too. Legitimately, I think they're going to have an interesting season.
Offense and defense.
Yeah. So for me with the Saints, it's kind of a mixed bag of emotions. I mean, on one hand, we have to play the NFC South, which is going to be a difficult division this season. But on the other hand, we don't have to play the Saints, so that's good. It's definitely going to be an interesting schedule. I love our opening game, Tom Brady versus Drew Brees in the Dome. I think that's a great game. The one thing I'm mad at is, come on, you're really going to tell me that's not good enough for a primetime game?
Why Cowboys Rams?
How is that not Sunday Night Football?
I'll tell you why, Jack. Because if it's Dallas, it has to be primetime.
What are you talking about? Nobody loves calling Dallas games more than Joe Buck and Troy Aikman.
No, but they got to go on Sunday night.
But Drew Brees versus Tom Brady's a way bigger deal.
100%.
Tom Brady and Drew Brees is a bigger deal than Jared Goff and Dak Prescott.
The new stadium, though. It's because of the new stadium.
That is true, and the Saints and the Bucs do have a Sunday night game later in the year on November 8th.
Yeah,
we have a schedule right now. But I see. I'm definite about 13 wins on this season. I'm confident. There are 3 big question marks. And I think you already know the teams, the 49ers and the Chiefs. We have to play both of them. And the team that is the biggest villain to this recent Saints team, the Minnesota Vikings, on Christmas Day.
Oh.
Listen,
On Friday, I think.
Yeah, I'm happy about that. I like
Friday nights. That's
Right.
very.
And it would be the best Christmas present ever to just demolish them on national TV. The good news for those 3 games that all 3 of them get to be at home in the Dome, which gives us the edge. But I've no idea what's going to happen with this season. I'm pretty confident about us being able to sweep the division, even though Tom Brady's playing in Tampa Bay. I don't think their defense is good enough to stop Drew Brees and Michael Thomas, Alvin Kamara, Cook, Sanders. And I think the 49ers are going to be significantly weaker without Sanders this season. It's just one less receiving threat they have to throw to. I'm a little bit scared about having to play the entire AFC West because I am very hot on all 4 of those teams being legitimate playoff contenders. With the moves that they made in the offseason, they are all copying the Chiefs. The Chiefs are probably going to win that division, but the other 3 could all be contending for a wild card spot.
Denver's a sleeper.
Denver is a huge sleeper.
Yeah, they're a 9 or 10 win team, I think.
If they make a run. But yeah, those are my thoughts on the Saints. I mean,
which 3 games do you have them losing? Because I can tell you, I picked all the games. I can tell you, I think they're going to lose week 10 against the 49ers, the next week at home against the Falcons, and then the final week of the year against the Panthers.
Interesting. I think if we lose 3 games, it would be the Niners, Chiefs, and Vikings. I think those 3 teams, the Niners and the Vikings have always given us, they've always given us a challenge.
So do the Falcons. That's why I picked one of those games. The Falcons
do give us a challenge. I think we'd be more likely to lose to them away, though, rather than home.
Also, speaking of the Saints, how do you feel about the Larry Warford cut?
It was interesting, but I can't say that I'm mad because that shows I trust Sean Payton. And if he thinks that we can trust Cesar Ruiz to fill that spot, then we can trust him. I did think it was very interesting. You don't usually cut a 3-time Pro Bowler. You at least trade him for something. But that's that. I hope he goes to a good team, and I wish him the best with his career.
Yeah, it was like the only reason I don't agree with it, just because you're going this could be Drew Brees' last season. You're going all in on a Super Bowl run. Why are you gonna, when you have an established guy is like a Pro Bowl talent? And I'm not taking anything away from Cesar Ruiz, but we don't know what he's gonna be. Like, what if he turns out to be like an Eric Flowers? When you had that, I feel like this was not the year to do it. That's my only problem with it.
We'll take him though. We have a whole guard.
That is true. I heard he wants around $7 million. Brian, that's what.
Yep.
Exactly, like almost how much Brian Winters makes, isn't it?
Exactly. Literally just flip-flop them. Cut one of the worst guys to grab one of the best. I would be so annoyed.
Jack for GM 2020.
And before we move on, actually, do you guys want to talk quickly about your guy Logan Ryan?
Oh, absolutely. Yes, I do. Okay, yeah. So Manish Mehta, who I usually have a lot of respect for, kind of did something today that a lot of Jet fans probably aren't too happy about, I'm going to be honest. He came out and said that the Jets are going to get Logan Ryan, and then all of a sudden it was then reported that there was no official offer made and that we're really not too far along on this process yet. But we're hopeful that we're going to get him, and if we do, that gives us another weapon in the secondary to hopefully shut down some of these top receivers we've got to play. And it's probably the biggest hole on the roster right now outside of maybe receiver. So to fill it and to get an established guy who intercepted Tom Brady's last ever New England pass would be pretty awesome. So hopefully it happens, and I think Jack would have some more to say on it. But I am thrilled because Joe Douglas, he continues to impress me. They had a good draft. They made some nice signings in free agency, and this would be the latest.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with Noah on this. I'm very hopeful, and I've been saying this for weeks. I know Noah knows that. I've been saying that for a while. I want the Jets to get Logan Ryan. To me, he was at least on the defensive side, he was the biggest snub of the Pro Bowl last year. The man's coming off a season where he had, as a cornerback, 113 total tackles, 4 interceptions, 4.5 sacks, and 4 forced fumbles. He's an absolute playmaker. And I think he will be an absolute great fit for the Jets, and especially under Greg Williams, because he's a guy that can do everything. He can rush the passer a little. He's great in coverage. He's a hard hitting cornerback. The best positive though, if we get him, well, the two best positive things. One, the cornerback room is more established, and especially for the younger guys like Bless Austin and Bryce Hall, they can learn so much from him and Pierre Desir. So, because they're both on one-year contracts, and I assume if we get Logan Ryan, him and Pierre Desir will both be the starters. So they can mentor all the younger guys. But the biggest thing for me, and the man that should be the happiest about this, in my opinion, is Jamal Adams. Because the secondary was so bad last year, I feel Jamal had to spend a lot more time, like, way back, and he had to help out, like, Tremaine Johnson and Darryl Roberts because they got beat every play, so he had to stay there. Now that, like, they have more established corners, Jamal Adams could just roam around. He can literally just be a ball hawk, and he can follow the ball everywhere, and he can play more in the box, which is what he likes to do. If the Jets are able to get Logan Ryan, I honestly think Jamal Adams will be a top 3 contender for Defensive Player of the Year.
Oh, no doubt. No doubt.
And also the thing I like, but especially talking about Joe Douglas, the Jets cornerback situation last year, it just makes you want to vomit. And so far this year,
it was like puke-inducing. That's how bad it was.
I couldn't even look. I couldn't even look at it. And literally, and now this year, if this signing happens, we'll have Logan Ryan, Pierre Desir, Brian Poole, Bless Austin, Bryce Hall, Quincy Wilson, like a lot of good young guys and the veterans who are very good and established. The Jets, in my opinion, in terms, I don't know, they may not be the best, but they definitely have they have the most depth. They have a lot of depth at cornerback now.
Yeah, the only question I have about adding Logan Ryan, and Jack, you can bring this up in a second if you want to answer this. I'm just a little concerned about how he may fit, only because this is from Rich Cimini. I know Ryan plays a lot of snaps in the slot, and I actually saw a tweet from Rich Cimini, the ESPN Jets reporter today, that said that Ryan actually played more snaps out of the slot at corner than anybody else in the league last year. And we already have Brian Poole, who we're paying a decent amount of money to play in that position because he did it last year and was really good. I just don't know if that's a little too much of guys that's going to play the same position. I don't know. I just feel like you don't need 2 really good slot corners. Maybe you'll move Ryan outside a little bit more. I'm not exactly sure how it would work, but it just seems like a little bit of overkill. That would be the only concern I have.
Yeah, that really doesn't concern me. Logan Ryan's a very versatile guy. He can play inside and he can play out, and he can also play a little bit of safety, I think, if he absolutely has to. And also, like, especially in his time with New England, he was more of an outside cornerback, so I'm not too worried about that. And also, he's a good veteran guy. He's played in Super Bowls. He's won Super Bowls. He knows how to win, and I think it's a great fit.
All right.
And it would be revenge for giving Darrell Revis up to New England all those years ago. I hated that. And now
well, I don't know if it's on that. I don't know if it's on the same level. We didn't give him up to New England. We gave him to Tampa Bay, and then he went to New England.
Right. Okay. But you know what I'm saying, though. Eventually got
and
there.
also, I don't hold Logan Ryan in the same level as Darrell Revis at all.
Well, no, but still. Anyway.
All right. So before we finish up, there's just one little NFL thing that I wanted to talk about. A couple days ago.
Is your surprise?
I think it was yesterday, actually, that that Las Vegas came out with the MVP odds.
I know what you're talking
about. I know what you're going to say.
I had a few problems with it. First of all, Dak Prescott is currently the third highest odds of becoming the MVP at 9-1. Listen, if you're taking those odds, you're just burning your money. Okay?
Yeah.
But that is ridiculous. And then Kyler Murray and Tom Brady are tied for 4th. I'm not even like.
I don't even think Kyler.
Where's Russell Wilson?
Yeah,
I don't even.
Russell Wilson.
No, I think it was Mahomes and Lamar. That's what I thought.
Yeah, it was Mahomes, Lamar, then Dak. It was Mahomes, Lamar, then Dak.
Then maybe it was Russell after that. I thought he was up there.
Yeah.
Drew Brees is sitting at 20-1, which is behind Brady and Kyler. I don't know how you're going to sit there and look at last season's results and tell me that Tom Brady and Kyler Murray are going to have similar seasons, that Dak Prescott and Tom Brady are both going to have better seasons than Drew Brees, and that Kyler Murray is even going to be in the MVP conversation. That's probably what.
No, he actually might, though. Actually, because I think they're going to be right in the playoff mix, and with the weapons they have, Honestly, he actually could be a contender. We remember second-year quarterbacks. We had never really seen them win MVP before until last year. So I'm not going to
the last 2 years.
But
No, the last 2 years.
oh yeah, right, exactly. Yeah, exactly. You're right.
Exactly. It's funny when I used to do fantasy football with my friends from my town. And like the 15th round, my friend would always he did it both years in a row. 2 years ago, the last round, he literally drafted Pat Mahomes because like nobody was sure of him. And then he drafted in the following year, he drafted Lamar Jackson like in like the 10th. Like he just got the steals.
Yeah, exactly. So that's why to me, like I don't hate the Kyler selection, but the disrespect to Drew Brees and Russell Wilson and Patrick Mahomes on that list
is just awful.
Yeah, but going back to Dak Prescott, when you know it's ridiculous, you know how I know it's ridiculous that Rayne Dakota Prescott is in the MVP conversation? I was watching Undisputed today. Skip Bayless even has a problem with it.
Yeah, you're right. I did see that.
That's very eye-opening right there.
That's when you know there's a problem. And also, I can't stand every day they have on Undisputed, they have a Jordan versus LeBron debate. It's like, I can't take Shannon seriously when he has 7 LeBron jerseys in the background, like talking.
Well, yeah, but Skip every Friday wears his Michael Jordan T-shirt. So
It's just funny.
Jordan sneakers. All right, let's go to our winners and losers.
Winners and losers, yeah. Noah, you want to take first?
Yeah, so my loser is absolutely going to be Gary Payton. We talked about it before. Just the disrespect that Michael Jordan showed him, laughing at the video of Gary Payton saying, "I locked up Michael Jordan in the second half of the '96 finals." It was awful. Like it was honestly pathetic the way that Jordan laughed like that. And the numbers speak for themselves. The percentages speak for themselves, and the win-loss results speak for themselves. So I get it. The Bulls were the favorite. They were the 72-10 team. They're one of the great teams of all time. But to say that Gary Payton had no impact on the second half of that series, especially on defense, is just ridiculous. So he was my loser of the week, and for the way Michael treated him. And I hope there's some sort of apology at some point because that was really over the line.
Jack, what's your winner?
Yeah, my winner is the New York Jets. If we're gonna get Logan Ryan, another great addition at cornerback. It's gonna make our defense a lot better. And if they get him, I'm not saying it's better than, but I'm gonna honestly say, and I don't know if Noah will agree with me. If they get Logan Ryan, I think this will be the best defense the Jets have had since the Rex Ryan days.
It could be.
They had a good defense last year, though.
Since 2010.
Getting Mosley back is going to help, obviously, as well.
And Williamson.
Yep.
All right, Dean, you got yourself a loser?
I actually have 2 losers, and you're gonna be surprised. You're gonna be surprised with the second one. My first loser is Tony Ferguson.
Oh yeah.
After watching UFC, a proud UFC fan, that pay-per-view went great. After that fight, I was happy Gaethje won, but I was like, are we even going to see Ferguson and Khabib ever, especially now after this? I mean, the UFC ran that pay-per-view perfectly, but I really wanted to see that Ferguson-Khabib fight so bad. No disrespect to Gaethje, and I like Gaethje, but my second loser is myself because Zach Evans, if any of you guys know this, who Zach Evans is, Zach Evans, who was a running back and a recruit, committed to TCU. I predicted him to go to Georgia or Florida. He went to Georgia and got released from his letter of intent a few months ago. And then out of nowhere during this pandemic, slaps me in the face and says, I'm going to TCU, which was just the most random recruit I've ever seen.
Okay.
Interesting. My winner, I have 2 winners, but they go together. It is American sports fans and also Korean sports.
Go Dinos! Let's go!
Dinos, yes. This past week, the KBO started up, and I don't know the ratings for it, but despite the fact that they're showing games at 1 a.m. and 5 a.m., I'm assuming their ratings are through the roof right now with all the Americans tuning in, just starved for any sort of sports. Yeah. I have my alarm set for 5 a.m. tomorrow morning to watch the Dinos play. I'm going to get up and watch it because I need something at this point. I think I can speak on behalf of so many American sports fans. So it's great for us to be able to have something to watch live and actually root for. Jack and Dean, do you guys have a team yet?
Not really.
I'm just watching it, bro.
I'll go with the Dinos though. I'll go with the Dinos.
I picked the Dinos because they have Aaron Altair on the team, who was on the Mets last year, and he had a home run at his first Mets at bat last year, which was kind of a memorable moment during last season. So I picked the Dinos, and that was the first game I had seen. So that's my team.
I'm just happy sports is back.
Pick which name sounded the coolest. But also the other reason is because, a lot of international sports outside of soccer don't really get the respect they deserve in America. And I think this could be the beginning of a great thing for the KBO in America, with more Americans going to be starting to watch it.
Yeah, and just one other thing I want to mention about it, Aidan, if I can just piggyback on you.
Yeah.
I like the fact that they've been piping in crowd noise to make it seem less weird, like there's nobody there. And honestly, you would really never notice that nobody was in the stands unless you actually saw a shot of the empty stadium. So I like the fact that they were piping in crowd noise. It made it seem more normal. And I can't wait to watch some of these other games because the league's been going on for quite a while now, and it seems like a really high-level brand of baseball. So we'll see how it goes.
Definitely. All right, so we are just about out of time here. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. Make sure to follow us on Twitter and Instagram, and we'll be back next week with another episode. See you guys.